Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. The View opened up talking about, I don't even know why this is a story. Uh, Talking about Nikki Haley making a speech, and in which she talked about her husband being deployed overseas, and she doesn't get to see him tonight, and her kids don't get to see him, and she choked up a little bit. Because that's a human thing to do, and I don't know why this has to be a story. This is it's um it's sexist and stupid and cynical to even have this be a story. Um, and you know, most of the women on the panel thought, well, it was a genuine moment, and she missed her husband, and she was sad for her kids, and like just move on. And then Sunny is like, nope, I didn't think that was genuine. I think she manufactured a tear because she saw her poll numbers go up when her husband was attacked by Trump about, serving in the military, and this was a strategic thing to get sympathy votes and or sympathy attention, and um, I think that's really sad. But I can't blame her for thinking that. That's exactly where that's how cynical we have become. It's emblematic of how cynical this country is um, about politics and politicians. That everything is manufactured and nothing is genuine, and it's hard to sort of uh, you know fault her for that thought, but at the same time, um, it's if it's a genuine emotion, why kick someone when they're down? I don't know. I just the whole thing is just is unfortunate that anybody's even talking about it at all. Um, it, I just don't think it's it's a natural thing to do, but to question someone's um, emotion like that when it's that personal is really hard to fathom. Although there is a lot of manufactured ness about Nikki Haley, so it's a tough one to say whether or not that's even fair. But anyway, um, you know, Nikki's a human, and God bless little Amy Alyssa Farrah Griffin, still touting that, like, if Trump gets convicted in the January 6th, that's not going to happen before the primaries are over. It's all happening too late. And the January 6th trial should have been a year ago, but fucking Merrick Garland didn't do anything about it, sat on his ass, and it took the January 6th committee in the House of Representatives to show the American public and put pressure on Garland to be like, oh, I guess I gotta do something. What a fucking waste of time. He is very ineffectual. I do not like him. Um, and then we talked about Malia Obama having a short film in a festival. I don't even remember which one. Um, and don't tell me that she didn't get into the festival because of her last name. Like, that's, come on. But she's not using her last name. She's crediting herself as Malia Ann. And good for her. But I love it when this show talks nepotism, nepo baby, and using your last name, because there's that ghost that just lingers and hovers around that whole table. And I don't know if Joy was referring to Meghan McCain or not when she said, at least she's trying to make it on her own, as opposed to trying to cash in on her parents' last name in a business for the last 2 years. I don't know what that business in the last 2 years comment meant, um, because I don't know. Meghan McCain isn't doing a lot. She's got the new podcast. She's been writing for the Daily Mail. So I don't know what the business is that she's doing under other than the fact that she just trades on her father's name her entire existence. But if that was a shade to Meghan, it was I don't know who it was specifically directed toward, but it was delicious. And I love that the fact that the camera just stayed on her, because they didn't know if she was going to say something else. Um, but God knows they don't want to get sued, because Meghan has threatened to sue them before when um, Anna Navarro in uh, last year at some point said something about um, you know, wielding the family name, and how it's been even done at this table, like that much of a reference, and Meghan got all mad and was going to sue them. So they don't speak her name, um, which is pretty fucking funny. But it is true that that comment then led to all the money that Ivanka and Jared made when they were in the White House, and that's a bigger nepo problem and national security problem that we should be looking at and being concerned about. But they'd rather buy their stupid $400 Trump sneakers and then complain that eggs are 10 cents too expensive. um, And then Hakeem Jeffries, who should be the Speaker of the House. He should be the Speaker of the House. It's so nice to see someone come on and talk about policy and politics plainly, and just be like, "This is the problem, and here's where we're going." I loved his answer to Amy Melissa Farrah Griffin about whether or not Joe Biden is too old. Get the fuck over it, Melissa. He's the candidate. That's Melissa, Alyssa. Um, he's the candidate, and but he's like Joe's the strongest one. Papa Joe's gonna be the one to beat Trump. And then it's time to start ushering in the next generation. Dianne Feinstein was in there too long. Nancy Pelosi is there too long. Chuck Schumer is there too long. This is where I think if we did get into enough majority in the House and the Senate and kept the White House for the next congressional term, if they would vote themselves some term limits, that would be huge. I think the American public would love that. But they won't, because they're greedy fucks. But there's that cynical political, I you know, it, political cynicism